Hello, gamers. Good day. Today, we're going to update our movement method to take advantage of our rigid body 2D component. So, if we go into this, we're going to see a problem. Okay, so if I go up to another item, you see that jittering. Okay, we need to take it. This should just be you go up, you like in real life, you don't like touch the wall and it like you like kind of like go are repelled. No, it's a solid object. So, we are going to change our movement system so we don't get that weird stutter. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's load up that player script. All right. So we are going to add some variables that we're going to be using throughout our code. So the first thing is this is going to be a throwback. We have been working with a variable called move, but right now, since it is declared in our update function, the only place where this variable can be seen is within these brackets. We're going to be taking advantage of the of this variable. We're going to be using this variable elsewhere. Okay, so we need to make sure that it's declared in the sort of like outside of just that function. So we have visibility. We're going to change its scope. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and the first thing is just called. I'm going to just copy this. Okay, and I'm going to put it before, I had this variable here for our move action. I'm going to paste it here and just put a semicolon. I'm going to go back now and the update function and get rid of vector2, like where it's being declared, and instead just have it being utilized. Okay, so now the other thing, we had discussed we're going to be using the physics system. We're going to be using that rigid body. So let's go ahead then and declare a variable that's going to point to that component. Okay, so you know me, I love to misspell things. So RIG, ID, body, 2, and then capital D. So we're creating a variable of the type, we're declaring a variable of the type rigid body 2D, and we're going to give it the very clever name of rigid body 2D, all lowercase. Okay, semicolon, of course. On start, we're going to go ahead and we are going to grab the current value. So I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to work a little smart here. I'm going to copy rigid body 2D. Okay, all lowercase. I'm going to paste it. Okay. All right. So now, again, this is going to be something we're going to use a lot. We're going to grab the current values of the component that we have. So if we have, remember, we've got that rigid body 2D component, we're going to access it. So we're going to say here, get component. All right. And then we're going to say here, open bracket. Now that's going to be next to the letter M. M is in mommy on your keyboard. Okay, so get component. And then we're going to say here, this is going to be the capital ones. Actually, I can just copy and paste that so I don't misspell it, which I like to do. Rigid body 2D. Okay. And then we're just going to do a close bracket and then open and close parenthesis, semicolon. Okay, so now that's grabbing. So in our code, we're going to be able to grab that rigid body 2D component that we added to our player character. Now we're going to really do some updates. We're going to go ahead, updates to the update function and then create something called a fixed update. So let's go ahead though. I'm going to go ahead and below update. So below the bracket for update, the close bracket for update, above the bracket that ends the sort of like code for this program. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this, so void. Okay, so void is going to be the return type that this function is going to return. In this case, void is nothing, so we're not going to return anything. So void, and we're going to just call this fixed. And I'm going to, for me, I'm getting an autocomplete. I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to make sure that if I just have void and then fixed update. So void fixed update, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open bracket, close bracket. Now within here, I am going to actually just grab this code I had done before as far as this vector2 position, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to put it into fix update. All right. So I'm actually going to put this on like kind of like 2 lines just so you can, now let's keep it like that. Okay. So vector2 position. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and make some updates. Okay. So we're not going to be using our transform position. Okay. We're going to be taking advantage of, instead of transform.position, which the transform refers to this right here, we are going to be changing it so it's going to take advantage of the built-in physics information. Okay, so we're instead of transform dot position, we're going to say rigid body 2D dot position. So for me, again, I'm working smart here. I'm going to copy rigid body 2D. I'm going to change transform to rigid body 2D dot position. Okay, and then the rest of it is unaffected. Okay, below that, I'm going to then say rigid body 2D dot move position, and then update that with position. Cool. In update, I'm going to get rid of that line there. And then the only line I'm going to keep on update is going to be to read whatever the user is pressing in terms of like up or down or whatever. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if there were any typos. So I saved it and let's go. Looks like, what did I forget on line 29? Yes. Okay. All right. I feel pretty good about that. And moment of truth. You'll love to see it. Okay. So when we now play the game, it's not going to be a huge difference, but you see now, just as if when I pressed the wall, I'm not like bouncing off of it. Same thing. We're taking advantage of the built-in components and built-in physics within the Unity engine. I wish you the best of luck. Great stuff, duders.